All right, guys. Yeah. So look, it was a bit of a funny year. Every I suppose seven years or so, you're gonna get the Christmas falling on the Sunday, and what that does in many countries is allow for double public holiday. So not just Boxing Day, but the day after, and that's what we're getting here. In a lot of the developed markets. I mean, in the Australian market and in English market to be exact. But they're two pretty big important areas. And when the market's already on holiday mode, it is pretty easy for um, the markets to then just sort of even take extra time off. And you would have noticed a lot of brokers actually didn't even open yesterday. Now the market was moving, Japan was alive, banks were there, but the market didn't move much at all. I don't think we got more than a 30 pip range on any pair. And so while there's no news, there's no reason to really open trades here. What I suspect is going to happen is a bit of range trading. There is a bit of movement going on in the gold. Now that we're very lucky here that the only pair we had open was long gold, and I can't even remember the exact logic for it. I think it was just along the lines of, let's just see if this, uh, sort of dip buying is going to continue, and let's see what we get out of it. I mean, honestly, I don't think we're going to get much more. That was a pretty spiky high. Um, just here, and rejected that 1150 level. I mean, look, we might though. The market's sort of sailed off in a direction, right? And it's like, well, are we going to turn around and go back to US dollar buying? I don't know. Maybe we get more stops to the top side right now than anything else. So, the euro itself, if we get back above that 1.5, 1.510, that would be interesting on the charts. Dollar yen, it's hovering around this 107 level now for 117 level for a while. If we were to slip underneath it, perhaps we do make a little trip down towards that 116 bigger support, and all that would tie in together. Okay, if we're going to get any sort of price action this week that's beyond range trading, then a little bit of US dollar weakness makes sense to me. Profit taking into year end as well. I mean, I'm not sure how big that is in terms of month end flows, but year end flows as well. You're probably going to get a little bit of profit taking. I've heard a little bit of a story about tax reasons. Stock traders will take profit next week. Now, I'm not sure what that is about. I'll have to look more into that. I don't know about the US tax code or what they would be trying to achieve by doing that. Might be a quarter on quarter thing that they're trying to get around. But stock markets obviously had a 10% run up last quarter. That's a pretty big move, and if there is profits to be taken, there will be some bouts of that at some point. Now, I don't want to sell dollar yen. I don't want to buy the euro. I don't mind being long gold just now that we put a stop to entry and see what happens next. Other than that, though, Aussie's a little sketchy here. It's while no one's been watching the Aussie, it's just been grinding lower, and you know, same with the Kiwi in terms of its potential to start really moving faster. I mean, a lot of the things which I think are going to be negative next year are probably going to hit the Aussie most. So any sort of China trade problems, any sort of concerns about Trump going into his inauguration, if he's not really toning it down at all lately. He's really getting a bit more confident. If you look at his Twitter, his Twitter's out of control. I mean, I thought that he would be more presidential by now, and I think for the first couple of let's see if I can get into my Twitter. God. I haven't even got my new computer yet. Jeez, I'm gonna have to think about that too. I'm using my old computer, but I cleaned it out a little just to try and make it run for the last couple of days that I've got left. And I cleaned out my passwords, and I only use about 3 or 4 passwords, right? So I should be able to hack myself into this Twitter account. Oh god. All right, can't. Anyway, maybe I don't even have to log in to see Trump. I probably don't actually. I mean, they're concerned about some of his nuclear proliferation sort of talk, and let's have a look here. Shut down a little bit of. I mean, look at this. The world was gloomy before I won. There was no hope. Now the market is up nearly 10%. Christmas spending is over $1 trillion. He's literally taking credit for Christmas. Um, I'm not sure what that is about. That's yeah. I mean, it's delusions of grandeur are pretty heavy here. And that's not your normal family photo that you'd get from a usual politician. But yeah. Don't know about quoting Putin. He's definitely different, right? Isn't he? He's he's really starting to get loose again on Twitter. Now, you seen last week, if you were following, China was not very happy with the way that he handled the underwater drone. And so, really, this is going to be very interesting. Like, it's not so much if he's going to do something that's going to be off, it's when, right? And it's how the market responds. Now, that's going to be important, right? Because we talk about this sort of Trump effect, but in politics, he's been able to get away with a lot. International politics, geopolitics, he hasn't really been tested yet, and it's going to be remain to be seen if he can just, what might happen is that other leaders might be saying, well, it's just Trump being Trump, right? And so things which would get a normal politician into trouble, maybe the market or will just ignore it and not be this big issue. And that would be underwhelming as a trader, right? So I'm hoping there's going to be volatility caused by this, just because it'd be fun to be able to trade it. But in terms of exactly how negative it is, it will get to maybe the stage where people won't react. He can say pretty much anything almost, right? And it just seems like the market shrugs it off as it's not real. Once he's in power, though, that's really what I want to see, if the market takes it more seriously, or if he just says something flippant to the Chinese and doesn't back down from it. Um, this is the sort of thing, you don't go in there telling with this idea about what's going to happen. Yeah, he's going to say crazy stuff, but it's not clear if the market's going to react ultra negatively to it. And if he doesn't, then you've got to move on to the next idea, the next story. And the next story might just be US dollar strength, US raising rates, yada yada. Whatever there is going to be. European political problems, or even, at some stage there'll be a new theme in the market, and it may not be Trump just because everyone's focused on it in his inauguration on the 20th. But, yeah, probably is going to be Trump. Probably is. I mean, if you're not following him on Twitter, just start following him, because, yeah, it's actually entertaining. Anyway. Read a couple of pretty interesting pieces, was looking through some research. There's not too much out there today. Data-wise, this week, there's nothing. There's just the unemployment claims on Thursday. You've got the crude oil inventories as well on the Thursday, and so Friday night, and so Thursday US time, Friday night Australian time. That's really the main things that are coming out. Next week's going to be a bit bigger with the NFP and everyone coming back from holidays. But next Monday is another crazy sort of, most of the world's off. Many brokers will be closed for next Monday. So Tuesday is going to be the main day that the market comes back. All right, let's have a little look at one piece of research, and then, given that the market isn't really giving us much today, I'm going to probably end it up after that. Tomorrow should be a bit more interesting, right? Everyone come back, see if there's any sort of break, any sort of euro US dollar weakness, like dollar yen below 117, something that we can bite into. I would be. I mean, there's many ways to play it. Wait for the US dollar to get weak, then buy into that weakness. If that happens, if it doesn't, just don't trade, or try and trade the range, which would be buying dollar yen soon, selling euro soon, next 10 pips, 20 pips, selling Aussie above 72, and selling Kiwi above 60, 69.20. All right, so SocGen, I haven't heard too many come across as dovish. Let's see what they've got to say. All right, so each year there is some rotation in the governors, and there is a little bit of talk about this, right? There's a little bit of talk about this. Um, the people coming in are meant to be a bit more hawkish. All right, so that's an odd way to start your dovish piece. We remember read this in the update there from one of the banks last week. They were talking about 2017 and the new Fed members. All right, so we've got a few doves coming in. So a few hawks coming in. Wait, what? So, okay, 2017, 2016 hawks came in. 2017, those guys. What are we having here? We got. These are the new guys. These are the new guys coming in. Dovish. These are the new guys, not in bold. God, who wrote this? This is absurd. All right, so Evans and Kashkari is supposed to be dovish. I've never heard Kashkari. Never. It's not someone I'm familiar with at all. Evans and Dudley spoke a lot last year. Um, Evans spoke a lot for someone who's not a voting member. And that's just good to know when someone's speaking if they're a voting member. Mester and Rosenberg always came across pretty hawkish. Fisher comes across hawkish. So this is important whether we get 3 or 2. Okay, so the Fed typically operates with 7 governors, but operating with 5. Congress refused to consider nominees from Obama. Trump will have control of both the House and Senate, so he's probably going to be able to get them through. So that could be interesting if he nominates Hawks. How that comes across. I mean, Yellen's still in control, but that's interesting to note. if Trump can change the sort of the weighting there. Yeah, other than that, I mean, I don't encourage you guys to trade today. It is going to be some low edge sort of trading environment. But if you do, just make sure you use risk management just in case some news story comes out. Uh, 3 or 4 years ago, I saw some very huge, big moves this week. There's something like 300 or 400 pips on the back of low liquidity. So low liquidity works double-edged sword. Most likely nothing will happen, but if a story breaks and there's low liquidity, the market will move further than usual. All right, guys. If there's no questions today, just I'll leave it there. If you do want me to look at something tomorrow, is even something a little unorthodox like bonds or options, just leave me a little note and I'll look into it for you. There's a few long-term options that I've been thinking about doing for the first half of next year. We can consider some of those as well. Okay, guys, other than that, good luck.